It's Jesse with Game Infinite, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of a unique video because I am going to be kind of a combination of the reaction videos that I'm starting and GI plays, which is normally unedited, just long form gameplay. This one doesn't really fall into either of those categories, so I want to make a special just demo impressions video for a game that I am super excited about, Aikode. So I'm this game is one of the games that have featured multiple times on the GI trailer project supporting indie devs. We've supported multiple trailers for this game, and we even brought the developer on and did a developer interview. We've been following this game for a couple years now, and when I say that it is by far the most anticipated indie game within our project, within our community, within our followers, as the trailers that we've posted have gotten so many views. People are so excited for this game. This game looks incredible. And what makes it even more incredible is that it's largely a solo developer project. I mean, he has some I know he has some people helping him with music and voice acting and stuff, but ultimately he's building this game. And this game looks like Final Fantasy or a Nier game, and these games, it's impressive just how good it looks within such a short period of time, and some of the cutscenes and some of the gameplay we've played. This is going to be me talking over my actual gameplay from the demo. So he put out a pre-release demo. It's about 20 minutes long, depending on how many times you die trying to fight the boss. I edited out a couple deaths because I suck, but the game, this is, so behind me I have original gameplay. I think I might still put up the non-commentary version of this, show off the gameplay on without me speaking, but just look at this game. So for those of you that don't know, if you haven't seen, we have multiple trailers, we have the developer interview on this game. Aikode is this third-person sci-fi fantasy game, and I'll be totally honest, this has some Death Stranding level of weirdness at times, but I mean that in a good way. For those, I don't really like that comparison because I was not a big fan of Death Stranding, but that's the only game I could think of that approaches this level of weird. Especially near the end, it gets very meta, and this game definitely, it's one of those things where I'm not sure what's going on in the story. There's all these weird little references to things and things that are stated. It's kind of hard to explain, but the core gameplay itself is a third-person action, and it definitely gives major Nier and Final Fantasy vibes, both two franchises that I'm huge fans of, and the game was super smooth. It ran well. It's in an early pre-release alpha state, so it's not finished. The demo's only about 20 minutes long, but I was blown away at just how well it ran and how well it looked for. This is probably one of the best indie solo projects that I've seen, and so I'm gonna actually get to the video playing behind me. This one here, it definitely has that Nier vibe where you have the floating companion and just the third person perspective. Something about it has that vibe. And I like how in this world there's these shifting moments where the scene changes to a different style. Don't know why. Ultimately, you explore this small part of a town, and that's an example of one of the jumps where the entire scene just changes. During this, there's narration of a character talking over. There's a lot of dream logic is the phrase that I've used to describe these types of weird stories. I felt like performance was really good. Overall, I was happy about this. I've seen this portion here where there's this weird Inception city that shows up. This may be a bad thing to do a reaction on because it's I don't know what's going on. And it only continues to get weirder in the end when it gets a little meta very near the end. But there's all these, look at these characters. These characters do not look like characters you would see from an indie solo project. They're just super realistic, high fidelity characters that are very impressive. Not just for an indie game. We're getting AAA projects dropping with less impressive visual models than this indie game. So there's combat in the game. Eventually you meet some characters, and combat was good. I didn't really have any qualms with it. It was pretty smooth. There weren't like it's still early build, so I didn't feel like there's not a lot there. It's still pretty simple combat, but I'm sure that as you level up your character and progress through the full game, there might be a little bit more there. This definitely feels like a early game tutorial. I like the enemy types; they're good. The motion feels good. Like you can just kind of float around, and I like the animations. It's so much more deep than just attack and like dodge. There's some flavor there. There's a lot of like text and narration throughout this demo, which I'm not including in this version where I'm talking, but yeah. This is the city that I was talking about, where at one point in the game you're kind of teleported to this area where it looks like some kind of like city on an ocean. There is a photo mode in the game, which I thought was impressive for such an early build of a demo. I didn't really play around with it in this gameplay, but the photo mode is nice. So considering how impressive the character models are going to be in the game, I feel like that's going to be a nice thing at release. This part right here just continues on that wacky, I don't know what's going on aspect to it. Where like, there's this cat, and there's other cats in the game, and there's some reference to Schrodinger's cat. Yeah, and the character kicks the cat into the water. It's kind of brutal. I might actually need to edit that or something in some way. I don't know, for YouTube. It's just the most random thing, and I'm like, I don't understand why that's there. Some more enemies that you fight. I like the teleportation. I like how you can like jump around, and I like the animation of combat. Like the main characters, there's a lot of flash, a lot of like just the way the effects are. It gives it some pizzazz, for lack of a better word, and the teleportation and go with sparks, whatever effects those are. It adds a lot of depth to the visual nature of the combat. It's just so crazy I'm so excited to be able to actually like play with this game, because I've been looking forward to it we've been following this game for years. And now that it's like finally a little bit closer to, there's actually like a playable demo that I was able to like actually try before release. It's nice. This is one of those games where I felt like I was gonna actually be able to play it for a long time. So it's really cool being able to play it earlier than anticipated. There are definitely some aspects you can see that feel a little unfinished, like it's just this city in the middle of a vast, like sometimes some of the background elements seem a little empty. But again, for a pre-release early, like we're in alpha stage, these cutscenes are fantastic. Like we're just seeing these fully animated, like 3D characters, and again, I'm just continue to be impressed that this is a AAA level cutscene. I feel like in a lot of ways. The camera motions and the camera perspectives constantly changing. Like how many games out there do you see that are not this cinematic? Like the cutscenes are just two characters talking with subtitles, like, or sometimes two still images. Like the level of production quality on the cinematic portions is just ridiculous. They're studio developers need to be like some of the AAA studios need to be like looking at this game and be like, we need to hire this guy, because this one dude can pull off some of these cinematics and some of these animations that take teams of people. Yeah, I just continue to be impressed. At no point in this game did I feel like the game was small or limited, even for what it is. Like, it just in general, it feels really good. This was a cool section of the demo where there's like an underwater section, which has like a cool like floating flying mechanic that I thought was done really well. It goes to show that there's going to be more variety to the gameplay. Like, it's not just walking around the city and then occasionally hitting the enemy types. Like, this is a whole different environment that I hadn't really seen prior. And now you got floating and flying. Like, Anthem struggled to do this. This big world flying around.
As time passed, the child became sad and confused. One day,
that right there, that particular world, it definitely gives me some Nier vibes.
Said, "Dear child, I am your reflection. You've given me life, but I've also taken yours. Look at me."
And again, this whole time, the narrator is just talking about stuff, and I'm just like, I have no idea what they're talking about. Hopefully, as we get the full game, we'll understand more of the complexity of what the hell's going on in the story. So this is the final part of the demo. I will admit, I died a couple times against the boss. Just because, I mean, maybe I just suck at it. Maybe I didn't pay too much attention to the mechanics. The main boss is like this giant version of one of the characters, and there's just a couple different attacks, and you just really have to just like run and spam, and maybe my strategy sucked, I don't know. But you'd have to like try to run in there, and it definitely did it did feel like it was a little bit higher degree of difficulty, but it could just be that I suck at like Soulsborne style games. So any game where you're going to be like a weaker character against a large high tier boss, I'm not going to say it wasn't going to be like the hardest boss I've ever fought. It only took me like 2 or 3 tries. But, and in this third one, I feel like it went a lot quicker. The game could have some type of dynamic difficulty, and it saw that I tried twice, and I don't know, maybe that's the case. Look, when you watch this scene, you see the combat, like, the effects are good. Like, I've seen way lazier boss battles. Like, what is it? Like, at some point you just teleport to like orbit. Like, it looks like they're in orbit in space fighting. And on some kind of something. Like, are they in space? Are they in a holodeck? I don't know. It looks, all of the like glitchy effects, that's intended. Like, this game is designed to make you feel like you're in some kind of simulation or dream or Matrix. Like, those are intended. Like, we're seeing like this Matrix like effects overlaid on the screen repeatedly. That's not like the game stuttering or having any problems. These are built-in effects that are part of the game. Like, think back to like some AAA battles that you've seen and just watch how much lazier some of them are, where the boss just stands there and does like 3 different attacks, and like this one's like changing scenes and doing all these things. When you finally beat the boss, it goes to this final cutscene. We've seen this part in trailers before, the hanging character. Again, after having my hands on this game for 18 minutes, I still don't know what's going on. There's like several different characters. I think some are like the same character. I don't know why she's bleeding blood. This is a game where I feel like if you wait, you know, when you remember a dream after you wake up and you're just like, what on earth happened in that? But visually, it's really cool. At the very end of the trailer, it goes off into this rather lengthy cutscene talking about your character and
broke his strings. However, in doing so, the child fell to the ground alongside the puppet.
it gives you like this choice at the end. And I wasn't sure what was going on. It was like, it was very meta, and I don't, my anticipation for this game has only risen with my curiosity to just find out what is going on in this story.
It's the intrinsic nature.
That character model right there is incredible. Like, look at the hair. Like, look at her hair. Like, that is just super impressive AAA quality. I have seen AAA games that cost $70 with worse hair. Like, that is just impressive. I can't, I keep saying that, but like, look at this game. There's a reason the trailers for these games have had like tens of thousands of views on our channel, and it's, people look at this game and see it bleeding quality.
Was alive in this one.
This is the part where you just get like these random little cuts to different parts with different characters running at different versions of different worlds. I don't know if there's some kind of like multiverse aspect to this, or if there's some kind of dream matrixy. Me just trying to figure out what's going on.
You did it too. You broke my strings. Your strings. But in doing so, you closed your eyes as the butterfly landed on them. You signed a contract so
Now, I know that these numbers mean something, and there's been some cryptic texts from the studio. This is where it gets a little meta, where it's just like different versions of yourself. So that's why I'm thinking like maybe like some kind of multiverse or reincarnation or something.
And in the end, you achieved nothing.
It says there's some kind of loop. So maybe it is some kind of reincarnation or time mechanic, or
at the same time.
I don't know.
In a loop that you call reality. The state or
so yeah, this is where it gets at the end where it says to break the loop. I didn't know what that meant. It says, do you want to break the loop? It doesn't let you do anything. It just like forces you to like, it says it wipes the data. And I thought maybe that was like, it was asking me to start the game over. It's like, if you want to restart the loop, this will delete all your save data. It doesn't let you say no. It just lets you just like go back, do that. So like, like I sat there and I'm like, I'm trying to click no because I don't know what that means. I didn't want to. It was like, what do you mean delete data? I didn't know what it meant. So if there's someone out there that has figured the game out, understands what it's about, that's cool for you. Maybe I'm just haven't played enough of it or seen it like, but all in all, I thought this was an incredible project. Like, this is where it gets really better, where it's like him building the game. Like, you see parts of the game, like I've never seen that before. Like, there's parts of the game being built and written, and like parts of it like in it, like what is this? Like like I was, when this happened at the end, I'm just like, I don't understand what's going on.
Trying to remember a reason.
What do these numbers mean? What do the numbers mean, Mason? Okay, so that's Aikode. I mean, this game, okay, let's just talk about the pros. Like, it was fun. It was a fun 20-minute little experience. It's definitely an early alpha. Like, they're you know, it's short. There's not a lot here yet, but I'm so intrigued. Like, I don't know what's going on at all. It's definitely, it leaves a mystery. I want to know what's going on. But overall, I thought the gameplay for an alpha indie project is phenomenal. The visuals of the cinematics, like whenever you hit a cutscene, it was this very cinematic, the different camera movements, different camera angles, very impressive. The character models themselves look something straight out of AAA. This is, I feel like, once it finally releases, even if it has the weirdest, most nonsensical story, even if it does, I think everything else about it will make up for it. But I'm sure that as we get to play more of the game, we'll slowly get to unearth this Death Stranding level weird story. But overall, I'm very excited for this one. This was my gameplay demo with my reaction on top of it. I wanted to just kind of share what I thought about the game and ramble a little bit. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you guys on the next Game Infinite video, and you guys tell me down in the comments, what did you think of this game? Are you excited for it? Does it intrigue you? Is it on your list now? Let us know down in the comments. See you next time.
I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want, and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no, I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy.